Hello YouTube. So I'm back on the road traveling this week, but I wanted to make a short video just to talk about a bit of an epiphany I've had over the last several days, maybe the last week or two, regarding notes. So I've been thinking a lot about notes lately and which notes belong in TickTick, which notes maybe don't belong in TickTick, and I made a video a few weeks back thinking that maybe notes don't even belong in TickTick altogether. So kind of my thought on that was, I know that there's specific note-taking apps. Probably they're designed for note-taking more so than TickTick. TickTick is designed more as a task management app. So are we kind of forcing notes into TickTick because that's where we're managing our tasks? Or would it be better if we actually used a note-taking app that's designed for taking notes? And so I've thought a lot about this. I was looking into Obsidian. I downloaded Obsidian. I copied all of my notes over to Obsidian, and I didn't really like that. So then I put all my notes back in TickTick, and in some ways it seemed like I'm forcing stuff in there. So I don't really like that. It doesn't all fit in there. And that's when I had this epiphany, and it came from watching several YouTube videos and all these terms I've heard before on, the Zettelkasten and, your personal knowledge management and all this stuff. But it never really clicked to me until recently, until this last couple of weeks. So I realized that there are two types of notes, at least for me, there are two types of notes. One is task notes. So these are notes that, in my opinion, belong in TickTick. They relate to a task. They're going to help me, they're going to provide me information to get a task done. But there's a second type of note, and that's more of a thinking note or a knowledge note or an idea note that doesn't relate to any sort of task. It's just something that came to me, or I read, or I watched a YouTube video, listened to a podcast. I'm like, that's a good idea. I should jot that down. And so that's the type of note. That's the type of note that, to me, doesn't seem to belong in TickTick. I mean, like, where do I put that? Which list? Is it in my work or personal? Didn't make any sense. And so that's when I decided I'm going to have two separate types of notes. The notes that belong in TickTick, related to tasks, and my idea, thought notes, thinking notes that belong in Obsidian. And I'm going to kind of go with the Zettelkasten method for now. I don't know if I'll stick with that or not, but it seems to make sense to me right now. It's, here's an idea, throw it out there, maybe tag it with a few things and see if later on it connects with another idea. And for me, this really clicked when, so I'm traveling this week, I'm doing a lot of reading. I read on the airplane. I find that that's a good time to read. Whenever I'm on the airplane, I don't connect to the Wi-Fi. I just shut off my phone and I pick up my book, and it's an hour, 2 hours of good focused reading. So one of the things I'm reading right now is One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. And so, kind of right here in the introduction, I've just started this book, but right here in the introduction, there's a good quote in here. It says, your losses, so these are the types of notes I take when I'm reading. And I do this with any book. Even with a fiction book, what I'll do is I'll kind of summarize each chapter up in a sentence or two. When I'm reading nonfiction, I'll jot down quotes and facts and things that I want to remember. And so here's a quote. Your losses are limited to the amount you invest, say $1,000, while the gains have no absolute limit, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So that's the type of note that I want to remember. Now, for the last several years, I've been taking notes like this on books, and I've read a lot of books over the last couple of years, and I have pages of notes from books. And this is the thing I was missing. It's like I'd take these notes, and what I would do is I'd scan them into Google Drive and never look at them again, right? I thought, well, there might be a time where I'd want to pick this up and go look at my notes that I had for some book, but that never seems to happen. But it seems like with Obsidian and the Zettelkasten method, there I could, tie it to the book, I could tie it to Peter Lynch, and maybe 2 years from now, I'm reading another investment book, maybe it's by Warren Buffett, something like that, and the notes kind of tie together. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and it's kind of exciting to me right now. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I know that when I made the previous video about do notes even belong in TickTick, I got some pushback in the comments, and I agree with most of you that hey, you don't always want to move to the new shiny app. You don't always want to keep moving things around. That's not productive. Um, but I really feel like this might be a good long-term move for me, at least for me, right? To separate my notes. Two types of notes: task notes, thinking notes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.